But how do these liberal arts then shape the student's intellectual and moral development in practical terms?
The liberal arts in the broadest sense does that, which we used really to mean arts and sciences. Because in terms of just intellectual skills, you're learning grammar. You're learning how our language is structured, this thing that we use every day. We're able to do it a whole lot better if we understand how it works. And it also, I think, teaches, it's really basic thinking skills to be able to understand the grammar of our own language, which we do best by studying another one. You always learn grammar better by seeing it in an unfamiliar form, because you take everything you say in your own language for granted. It's hard to, like looking at your own eye or something, it's hard to study something that's so close to you. And so what we do out of design school is we teach Latin, because Latin is, number one, responsible for about 60% of English vocabulary. So you're learning what words fundamentally mean, but also you're learning these rules about how a noun operates, how a verb operates, how an adjective operates. And you don't see those in English, even if you know it pretty intimately. We don't have noun cases in English. In Latin, the subject is not the first word of the sentence. It's the thing in the nominative case. And so they use sentence diagrams to try to teach this to you in English courses. And it almost never works. You need a foreign inflected language, Latin, to really understand grammar. So you do that. Logic, obviously, the benefits of that should be obvious. How to reason, and then rhetoric, how to be persuasive in a good way, if you follow Aristotle here. So all of those involve a sort of discipline. And I think really the fundamental thing you need to be a good person is this discipline. You're not going to argue in a way that sounds good, but really isn't logical. It's logic, right? Or at least it'll be very apparent to you that you're not using logic properly. There's those things. But also the way that liberal arts is used today to mean also the humanities, really, this is where you learn how to be a good person. This is training in being a good person, is literature and history. History does it by giving you exemplars of good behavior in a kind of extrinsic way. You're looking from the outside on these people and their actions, and you study them in history. But in literature, you get into their very psyche. You're in the mind of a person, and sometimes many people, in a novel that you read. And if you're reading great books, which are also good books, then you learn, and you can do this even with books that aren't great. You can read a Louis L'Amour novel. And in a Louis L'Amour novel, the protagonist is always a good person, and you're in his mind, and you acclimate yourself to the way this person thinks and how he treats other people and this sort of thing. And so that teaches you morality intrinsically, because it teaches you how to think like a good person. And the people who are presented to you both in history and literature are inspiring people. You want to be like them. Really, the only way that morality works is by imitating a good person. And the best book on this, by the way, is William Kilpatrick's Why Johnny Can't Tell from Wrong. He articulates this better than anybody I think I've seen.